So Rocket's doing the whole thing at nursery where like I'll pick him up from nursery and like, he was so good today, he said he wanted to go to the toilet. I mean, he still hasn't actually gone to the toilet because I think I implemented it a bit young at 1.5. I was getting him to sit on the toilet and I'd be like, go wee-wees, psst, that, and then now he thinks that's what it is, so he'll sit on the toilet and he'll be like, psst, done. And I'm like, you're not done. Why do you think you're done?
Oh my God, you overacted it.
He goes like this. He goes, anything? Anything? And I'm like, well, you would know if it was anything. So I think we're going to, when Barney's back,
That is really funny. He's a bit young. Like,
Don't tell Mum. Bye-bye.
hello and welcome to Don't Tell Mum. I'm Shanie.
And I'm Jamie.
And this podcast is now currently number 7 in
South Africa, baby.
Very impressive. It's a big place.
It's a big place. Thank you for all you South Africans watching the show. We hope you can give you our, parenting expertise. Not that we're an expert in anything but comedy. How are you, Shanie?
I'm good. I'm really excited to be here. I've only waited how many years to be invited on to Don't Tell Mum, but it was worth the wait, Jamie, because you have not just invited me on as a guest. I am officially your co-host while Barney Banks is out of the country.
The reason why is she was like my buffer, and I said, but we need her for when when you go away, and we need to keep it going. To be honest, it's been really bad. We've missed 2 weeks of editing because I've been parenting alone in Bali, back, and I hadn't had time to edit, and I'm the one that edits the podcast. So apologies, guys, but we're back and better than ever because we have Shanie Ryan on the show. So if you don't know Shanie, Shanie is an incredible presenter. Go follow her on her social media. First, Shanie_Ryan. Is it still the same, Ryan?
It is, my love.
You haven't got, and she's newly married.
Well, I've been married a year now.
And she is the presenter for Lad Bible. How are you finding that? Because it's festival season right now. They are very hype on the festival season.
It's so much fun. I am off to Budapest on Friday for Zaget.
Oh my God.
Which is meant to be like the biggest festival in Europe, bigger than Glasgow.
I've heard this.
I looked at the aerial photos of it and it's actually made me a bit anxious. There was so many people there. It was bananas, like amazing artists. There's over 50 stages and it's currently 35 degrees.
Oh my God.
So, it's going to be hot.
Are you staying in like the festival space?
I am not camping, no, because I am not camping. And that is it. It's the only reason.
You could glamp.
No, we're staying like 10, 15 minutes away from the festival. And then we get like there's like a tram that goes from where the hotel is right into the festival. Wow. So that's going to be cool. But we're there from Friday till Monday. And then I fly back and then I'm straight to QVC. And I've got 2 days doing a TSV for Nails Inc. And then I will get home at about 1 o'clock in the morning and I will be woken up by my toddler saying, Mama, it's my birthday. And then I'm going to Diggerland. So it goes from
Diggerland's so close
festivals
to us.
and all this glamorous stuff, and then we're at Diggerland, which actually I'm going to have so much fun. So
yeah, Diggerland's fun. I went there randomly a few weeks ago with Rocket. It was just, it actually wasn't a week, I think it was about a year ago, but he was still too young to go on most things. It was like too short.
Yeah, that's why we waited.
Yeah. Because, I mean, River's quite small, isn't he?
Yeah, he's teeny. But he should just be, he's got like this big afro. So his hair should just like get him into all the good stuff on the good rides.
When are you going there? What date?
Friday the 16th on his 4th birthday.
Oh my God.
That would be 4 years since I gave birth.
How does it feel? Are you still recovering from that?
Well, mentally, emotionally,
physically.
I think I'll always be physically recovering from my birth, but no, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I am very, very positive about birth and pregnancy. I had an amazing pregnancy. I was so lucky. A lot of people looked back on COVID as such a negative time to have been pregnant because obviously you were very separated from your friends and your family and you expect to be able to experience pregnancy with the people that you love. I did feel that, but I equally flip side, looking at the positivity, was that my now husband was at home with me the whole time because I was pregnant. I was high risk, so his work had him work from home. So was
that because of COVID, high risk?
Yeah. So if you had newborns or pregnant partners where he was working at the time, you were able to work from home or you were able to be furloughed. So he worked from home. But yeah, so we had like 3 or 4 months at home, just the two of us, to like really like prepare, and we did all the bits in the house and we did the baby room, and it was just, I was so relaxed and all I could think about was to be very present in my pregnancy. I get like, as you know, Jamie, I get the worst FOMO. I'm like the biggest FOMO queen. So when I decided it was time to have a baby and was blessed enough that it happened very quickly, the first thing I thought about was all the things I was going to miss out on in terms of work and stuff.
So did you plan it? Did you plan it?
We literally decided to have a
didn't know
baby and
this.
3 weeks later I was pregnant, which, you know, is not lost on me that is the biggest blessing.
So you probably thought, well, we'll be out of lockdown in like 6 weeks. It's fine. Because
Well, when I fell pregnant, it wasn't COVID. I fell pregnant in the November and we went into lockdown in I think it was the 3rd of April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they mentioned it. It was COVID-19 because it happened in November 19th when it started coming about.
It started, but yeah, it
And
wasn't
then
really
March
like.
the 3rd, I think that's when all my gigs got cancelled. And I was like, how am I going to pay my mortgage? And then obviously they froze all the mortgages. And
Yeah, well, my engagement party was supposed to be on the 3rd of April and the venue shut 2 days before. Saved me a bunch of money though, didn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so that's what happened. But yeah, I was really blessed. I had a very present pregnancy. Labour was amazing, really empowering, and the birth part we'll skip that.
Did
Not so
you,
great.
well, but the thing is like, what books did you read that you studied? Because you said you went into it and you studied as much as you possibly could.
Yeah.
And you did a really good birth plan.
My birth plan was 7 pages long. It's not lost on me that is absolutely insanity. But it was 7 pages long.
Do you think they read it?
They have to by law.
They didn't read mine until Barney was like, you obviously didn't read her birth plan. And then that's why he shouted at them.
Right. So Tony was obviously my advocate, and we had a deal that he was going to ensure that anybody that entered my space had to have read and signed all 7 pages to say that they'd read it. Yeah. And by law, they have to do that if it's requested of them. So the reason why it was 7 pages is not because I'm completely neurotic, but at the same time it is. It's that, and it's not that I'm a control freak, although clearly I am. It was because I had a version of my birth plan for every eventuality. So I wasn't this like crazy person that was like, my birth is going to be so zen and amazing and it's all going to go to plan, and I had like one version of my birth plan. I was very realistic that I could end up in a C-section or I could end up having an intervention. So I had a version of the birth plan for each eventuality so that we could have the best version of whatever was to go down. Yeah. So that's why it was 7 pages
I remember
long.
because you sent me it. You sent me the PDF.
Because I spoke to you and you were like, I have no birth plan. I'm going to wing it. And I was like, absolutely not. Here's all 7 pages. Can you edit it to suit you and take it with you?
And I remember just copying and pasting chapters of it and then sticking it in my book. And then the woman was like, did you write this? And Barney was like, she didn't write it.
That would be me. Exhibit A.
So, but the thing is, it's like, it does help because you just never know what you're going to expect on the birth. And every birth is so different. People can have great first births or great second births, but it's never by the book.
I think like for me, I was just really mentally prepared, but that was because it's very hard for women to mentally prepare for birth when you're so busy in your day-to-day life and like, you know, it doesn't really slow down. There's not, you know, I know people like Anna Whitehouse, massively advocates for like flexible working and things. Like I'm very lucky that I'm self-employed. I've always been self-employed, so I can take what I want and not take what I want within reason. Like had I have not had a good pregnancy and I needed to step back, I could have done. But the reality is COVID took all of that away anyway. So I just was able to like sit down. I started diving into like the microbiome and, you know, how to make your baby have the best immune system and like how to have the most natural birth and the least intervention and all of that kind of thing. So I very much lent into like, usually the second you get intervention, it leads to 3 more interventions. So the whole thing was like to avoid it, you know, like for me, like a sweep was a no-no. You
didn't do vitamin K either, did you?
We did a vitamin K drop, but not the injections because I'd read a lot about that. But the only reason why he even had the drops was because he had like a traumatic delivery. So his head was really misshapen when he came out. But if that had not happened and all had gone smoothly, then it would have been... we wouldn't have done that. But I think it's up to each individual to like really do their research and see what resonates with them. For me, just as least intervention and as most kind of close to kind of an ancestral birth as possible was the one. So I kept it as
and speaking of that holistic realm that we're in, you have brought up River. He's now 4 and he is being brought up as a vegan, which is really incredible because you don't hear a lot of that at all. And also it's really hard to find. I don't know how you just probably have to prep a lot because you can't find that really anywhere, vegan food for kids. they're filled with eggs, it's filled with cheese and ham. That's the kids' sandwiches.
Yeah.
That is when you go to any restaurant, it's like, what do you want? Pasta with cheese, burger, chicken nuggets.
The kids' menus never have a vegan option.
Yeah.
Like ever.
It's bad.
Ever. Like it's so annoying. And to be fair, it's probably something I should look into, is start having some sort of vegan kids line or something. If any investors are out there.
Literally going in and educating the chefs into how to do it, or they literally have like a section where, a bit like Ella's Kitchen, I suppose, they have the vegan side of things, and then actually you can make fresh food that is easy on the go for kids that are in the menu. And it shouldn't have
in a
to be
pouch,
difficult.
there's definitely pouches options, but when they get to a certain age, like, River still has like a yogurt pouch if we're traveling or whatever.
Same
but
with
like
Rocket.
just for ease, it's easier than a yogurt pot. But other than that, there's not kind of on the go options like you said. But yeah, we decided to make River plant-based initially. So I was very dead set on breastfeeding. I had a really difficult first 7 weeks of breastfeeding, and then eventually I got a lactation consultant to help, and it turned out River had 100% tongue tie, and she was like completely flabbergasted that we'd even managed to do breastfeeding at all, let alone had been going for 7 weeks.
Well,
there was so many things
strong.
Me and Tony had a deal that I would never quit on a bad day, and unfortunately I had 7 weeks of bad days, so I couldn't quit. He was like, today's just a bad day, honey. You said you were never going to quit on a bad day. And then eventually we got this intervention, and he had his tongue tie cut. It was hard because I'd been to see 5 different midwives, and they all said he didn't have a tongue tie. And I knew he did. And I said, he does. I'm sure he does. Please check again. Please check again. And then he doesn't have a tongue tie. And just like, that's where I really know, like, your maternal instinct is so strong. I just knew that it wasn't right. I knew he had a tongue tie. Persisted. I got 5 people telling me I was crazy. He was absolutely fine. Maybe it was me. Maybe my latch was bad and all this kind of thing. Went to this consultant. She was like, 100% tongue tie, like the worst type you can have. So I was right. Had that dealt with, and then breastfeeding became a dream. So I ended up breastfeeding River for 2 years and 4 months. We didn't have any food. So we just did exclusively breastfed until he was 1.
Wow.
So, which, if you go way back, that was really normal. Like introducing food at 4 months and 6 months was not normal. Your child would be breastfed for up to 2 years. And children can survive and be perfectly healthy up to that point. But up until a year was what felt really good for me, before we then introduced just like mono meals. And shout out to Lacine and Coop. You can follow them on Instagram. They inspired me during COVID, and I was seeing their journey with their daughter, and they're so healthy. And Coop's like a big water fast advocate, and they're just a really healthy family, and really know their stuff. So we booked a one-to-one consultation with them just to get some advice and like see why they did what they did, and they pointed us in the direction for different books and stuff. But eventually we came to the conclusion we were going to try and have River be plant-based. So Tony and I are veggie, but I would say the amount of dairy we have is very minimal. It's like, I literally love halloumi. So it's like halloumi maybe like twice a month, and
But that's
the odd
good.
bit of chocolate. Or like if I'm at a friend's house, I won't be difficult. If they, if I'm staying at your house, for example, and you say, do you want some toast, and you haven't got vegan butter, I'm still going to eat the toast. Whereas with River, that would be an absolute no-no. Because I ate meat for like most of my life. I've only been veggie for like 8 years. So
You were like the meat queen.
the meat queen. Don't say that. That sounds really wrong.
No, as in you loved it though. I just remember you had a very good appetite with food, and
Yeah, I still do. I still eat loads. I just eat lots of plant-based stuff now. But yeah, he's thriving. Like on average, babies go into hospital up to 10 times in their first year of life. And River had 1 hospital visit. And that was because little boys can often get urinary tract infections from like the nappy and the feces. So he got a urinary tract infection. But other than that, he didn't have anything that would promote a hospital visit at all in his first year.
How did you know that he had a UTI?
Because he'd never been unwell. And because he'd never been unwell, it was really obvious he was unwell. And we monitored it at home for probably about 4 days.
It's
and then
quite rare, isn't it?
And we didn't, like, River had never had any medication until he was like 2.5, where we first introduced a bit of Calpol, because he had chicken pox, which lasted 24 hours. They say vegan babies don't really have bad chickenpox reactions. It usually goes within 24 to 48 hours rather than 2 weeks, and that happened. But he just had a really raging temperature. And just as a mum, again, my instinct, I was breastfeeding him constantly and he just wasn't getting better. And breast milk is like able to adapt, and the qualities of it change to, if your baby's sick, then it becomes the medicine for your children. So I was like, my body must be, because I was overly producing milk, my body's trying to make him better, but he's not getting better. So then we decided to go to the hospital. They run some tests. They put loads of pressure on us to give him an IV straight away, to give him antibiotics straight away. And we was like, you're not giving him antibiotics until you know what the antibiotic is for, because otherwise you're going to try a medication and then you're going to try a different medication until eventually you get the test results back, and then you're going to go, neither of those medications were necessary, we should have given him this one. And then he's had 3 sets of medications. So we ended up having a bit of a row and saying, like, they were like, why are you, it was quite horrible, why are you here with him if you don't want our help? And I said, I'm here for a diagnosis. I'm here for you to tell me what's wrong, so and then we can discuss how we make him better. I'm not here for you to guess and pick medications. So eventually we had a doctor who was amazing and totally was on board. He was also plant-based, the doctor that we ended up with.
Wow.
So he had a different level of respect for, like, we don't want him having loads of medication. We're really careful about what he has in his body. So
I feel like they have to do, it happened with my auntie the other day. This is completely off topic, but what it kind of is, she's got this huge red abscess in her eye, and she went to the doctors and they gave her all these drops and these tablets. And we went to our friend's house the other day, who's a doctor, and she looked at the eye and she was like, what have they prescribed you? And she was like, stop it all. Don't take it. It will heal on its own. She was like, they had to give you something to give you something.
Right.
And she was like, what? I'll just stop it. She's like, it will heal on its own. It will do much better. And within 2 days, it started to clear up.
Yeah.
Without the medication.
The human body is so amazing. It's designed to self-heal. And there's so many, like, more holistic approaches. I've not had an antibiotic in 25 years.
Wow.
Like, not a single thing.
So if you've got a UTI, have you had a UTI?
I've had a UTI. My body will heal. I'll just be super, super good with my food, make sure I'm flushing through with loads of water. If anything, cranberries are really, really good at dealing with UTIs. Like, I'll go the most natural route you can find. If 3 weeks down the line I've still got a UTI, I will then, there's a place for doctors, and I have so much respect for doctors and for modern medicine. We are so blessed to have the opportunity to seek help from professionals and to have access to modern medicine. That's not lost on me. But equally, I'm not going to be going to my GP every 5 minutes. There's people that really need my GP, and I'm not going to waste their time when I could just heal myself with food, or I could take my time and, you know, take care of myself first before going, give me that, I need that, give me that, you know. The NHS is under so much pressure. I think if more people really looked inward at what they could do better with their own lifestyles to ensure that they're healthy and well, our NHS would have way less of a burden. So that's the other perspective I have.
So, talking of medicines, during your pregnancy, did you take folic acid every day?
I took a Well Woman pregnancy multivitamin. I'm pretty sure that had folic acid in it.
Because you heard the thing about folic acid causing tongue tie.
I have, but I didn't hear about that until after.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the research that's just come out now. So we had a sleep consultant come on.
Yeah, because it's quite new research, isn't it?
And she was like, I said to her, it's so weird. All of my friends have had babies with tongue ties. Luckily, Rocket didn't have it. But, I mean, I only breast for 8 weeks. So he might actually... I've had friends that are now 28 years old realising they had
got
tongue tie.
Yeah.
They never
a lot
knew.
of adults have it.
Right? So, but I only did 8 weeks because he wasn't latching. So he could have a form of tongue tie. We don't know. But I'm not very good at taking my tablets. So I don't think he actually...
You probably got away with it.
Got enough folic acid in him anyway. But apparently too much folic acid causes tongue tie. And maybe it's too much in these women's tablets and stuff that's causing this tongue tie, because why has it risen when they didn't have women's tablets back in like the 80s and 90s, but they had all this injections that the women had to have.
Yeah, I mean, the kids are given so much these days. Like, full disclaimer, River has never had an injection of any type. And I never had an injection of any type during my pregnancy. Yeah. People tried to bully me into doing the COVID jab during my pregnancy.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't allowed the birth unless I had the COVID jab. I wasn't allowed to go to New York if I didn't have the COVID jab. It was so bad that I felt so bullied into a corner. And now I'm having tests, ECGs, blood tests for my heart, because I get these dull aches in my heart.
And you're not the only person I know that is experiencing that right now.
Exactly. And then I said to the doctor, I was like, this is happening. She went, well, when you work out, do you get pain? I was like, no, I get pain when I'm literally sitting still. She's like, well, it can't be anything bad because you'd get pain if you were working out. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
It's crazy.
Right? Anyway.
Don't even get me started on that,
yeah.
Jamie. That's a whole other episode, honey.
So, how is River doing? Because we always start this podcast and we go, how is Rocket doing? And Rocket has just gone into a big boy bed.
How is Rocket?
Yeah, he's really struggling with sleep. And we've always been okay with sleep. We touch wood for years. It was very simple. I mean, I remember coming and staying with you, and you were like, you just literally went in and said good night, and that was what we did.
Yeah,
like,
it was
we've
wild.
never had an issue with him sleeping. Moved him to a big boy bed, but Barney did it when I was away in Bali, and I've just come back to this. Yesterday, I was trying to put him down for 2 hours. That's never happened. And I'm very impatient. So I just called Barney. I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. He's coming into bed with me. He's like, you're making it worse. I was like, no. It's worse for me to just let him cry out. And the night before, I actually fell asleep with him in his bed. And at 3:30, he woke me up screaming to high heaven, where's mummy? Because he'd woken up and realised I wasn't there anymore. He needs to be in the same environment that he was when he falls asleep, apparently. And that's not the same environment if I just lay with him until he falls asleep.
Yeah.
So I let him sleep with me, and then he had a night terror in the middle of the night at 3:30, thinking there was a spider on him. And that's kind of where I'm at with parenting right now. Obviously, Barney's away now for 3 weeks, which is really hard as a single parent. But I get my weekends where I have to go and work. It's not like having time off, but it's time
you work in
where
some
I can...
fabulous locations, though, don't you?
Yeah, and I can relax while I'm there.
Yeah.
And then I work the evening, and I do 3-4 hours. So it's great. It's great.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
at the same time, parenting is really testing my boundaries at the moment with it.
Well, I'm the same as you, like, and this is why me and you sometimes are like,
Yeah.
we're both really impatient people.
Yeah.
Like, it's both of us. I'm super impatient as well. And I would say with River, that is the thing I'm struggling with the most. I know I'm impatient and I work on it, but a 4-year-old is so testing.
Yeah.
So, like, as you know, River has never been a good sleeper, like from day one, and we've just accepted it. I think the breastfeeding thing had something to do with it. He used to wake up like cluster feeding like 12 times a night until he was about 1.5.
Yeah.
And then when he reduced feeds because he was eating more food, it then went down to maybe 8 times a night he would wake up. And then eventually got to 2 and it was 4 times a night. And then when he got to 3, it went down to 2 times a night. And now we're at 4 and he sleeps through the night most of the time. But sometimes he does still wake up. I think he woke up. He slept through last night, but the day before he woke up twice. So it's still like
Similar
that.
to me when I was a baby.
It's
I
crazy.
was 3, and then I'd slept through the night after I was 3 years old.
Right.
And my mum was breastfeeding for like 2.5, 3 years.
There you go. I think with breastfeeding does come, the downside is the sleep thing. But, you know, I got the best cuddles. I love it. He's still super cuddly. But what's new with River is we are going through a attack mummy phase.
Which is very common for women.
I don't know where it's come from, but Tony is very like firm with him at the moment about kind hands with mummy. You don't hit mummy. And he's not like an aggressive kid. Like, you've seen him. Like, and whenever I say this, people are like, what, River? Like, he's so gentle and so affectionate. But for some reason, there's some sort of frustration at the moment. So he'll just be like, he'll come in the morning, mummy, I want breakfast. And I'm like, it's too early. Like, he's not even awake properly. So I'll be like, Mum, River, come get into bed, like, chill out, lay down, it's still night time, go back to sleep.
My phone.
No phone. We're on a phone ban at the moment.
Are
a
you?
screen ban at the moment. We'll talk about that in a minute. But literally I'll be like, just lay down, go back to sleep. And rather than like getting into bed with me, he'll just wallop me, or he'll get his feet and just kick me. And like, I'll be like asleep, and then I'll just get like a boom. I'll be like, oh my God. And then Tony will be like, River. So right now, Tony's doing a lot of like kind hands with mummy.
Yeah.
Like trying to teach him that you have to be gentle with mummy and gentle with nanny if he wants to like play
Is
fight
he doing
and
it
stuff.
with nanny as well? Hitting nanny?
Not so much. I think it's more me at the moment, but he has gone through phases where it's been with my mum as well and Tony's mum. But so he's very challenging at the moment. He's very impatient, and much like his mum, he currently has verbal diarrhea. He does not stop talking. And I'm finding that hard because I'm freelance. I have to do work from home sometimes, and it's the summer holidays, so he's off school, and we're doing so many activities and so many fun things. But if I like sit down and like try and say, right, there's some drawing, do some drawing, mummy's just going to answer a couple of emails, it's this constant like talking in the background. I'm like, I can't even read the email. I can't focus.
You can't
'cause
do it on
all I
calls
can hear
either.
is this
Jump-
constant talking. It's just like, oh my God, just be quiet. Just for 5 minutes. Like, I keep finding myself going to the toilet and saying, Mummy's just going to the toilet, and locking the door. And really, I'm in there just answering a quick email and then come back out. He'll be like, Mummy, what you doing?
It's like Charlotte in Sex and the City when she goes into the cupboard and she screams. She's like, ah! Because she can't cope with the fact that she's got the 2 babies screaming at her. And that's the thing, like, you're probably at that
Overstimulated.
stage.
It's so overstimulating.
Yeah, but
You're like,
I'm now Rocket's 2 and he's nearly 3. I'm getting the whole, are you gonna have another one? Are you gonna? But you're getting that as well.
Oh, I've been getting that since he was about 2.
Yeah.
He's obviously coming up 4. And we made a deliberate choice to say from day one when people asked about another one that another one hasn't been decided.
Yeah.
Like I very much knew that I wanted River to be in school full time before I even considered having another baby.
Yeah.
And that the decision would be made at the time depending on what was going on with our lives. Like, we want to move house. My career's going really well. Like, is it really the right time? But equally, you know, we've waited till we're a little bit older to have our kid. And, you know, if we have another one, it probably needs to be sooner rather than later. Also, Tony's not a fan of like a bigger age gap than like 4 years, really. He wanted them closer together, but it was just a no for me.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. It's I feel with pregnancy, there's never a right time because there's always going to be something.
100%. But there's better times than others, Jamie Lisa.
Yeah, that's true. I think we would start probably trying end of this year. But the thing is because it's normally the summers are the toughest time for us in a relationship. Like, that's when we argue the most. That's where we resent each other the most.
It's because you're both like ships in the night. It's really tough for you guys. Like, literally, like Barney lands and you take off, and it's really, really tough. And you definitely see you guys being more cohesive as a couple in the winter months when you're both less busy. And, you know, the good thing about you and Barn is that you prioritise family time when you're not working. Like, you're going away for the whole of January into February. And that makes total sense for you guys because then you get to reconnect, rebalance, have fun. Like, you guys are an amazing couple, but you just have like certain periods in your relationship and your life where it's a little bit tougher. And that is due to circumstances. That's nothing to do with you and Barn. You and Barn are great.
And it would still be so hard with like anyone with a 9 to 5. If you're listening to this, if you have a 9 to 5, I find you guys probably have it the hardest because you go to work until 5 p.m. You pick up your kid from nursery.
That's
come
stressful.
home. Then you have to like engage with your child and connect, and engage with your partner and connect. By the time you hit the baby down, it's 9 p.m. You're exhausted.
And that's without all the housework and the fact that people are constantly reachable on their devices these days. So work never really stops.
Never really stops. And then you get into bed, go to sleep, wake up, starts all over again.
100%.
And then you get only 2 days to connect.
And then there's those people that don't have a support system, like maybe their family are in another country and things like that. It's just so much harder. But my thing with it, and Tony always reminds me of this, is like, it's just a phase.
Exactly.
Like, everything changes so quickly with kids that by the time you've kind of like come to terms with that thing that's been bothering you, or you've figured out that problem logistically, something else has changed, and then you're starting again. So it's forever moving and changing, so you can't really get too caught up.
Yeah. And you've been so vocal about this on social media. And talking of social media, like sharing your life on social media as a presenter, as a freelancer, because it's quite rare that you do meet freelancers who are also mums. Freelancers are normally in their like early 20s and then they kind of stop and then become a mum and then just do that for a bit. How have you found social media navigating that world as a freelance mama? Have you come across any like TikTok turn-offs? Anything that you absolutely riles you right up, whether it's in parenting or not?
I don't necessarily think in parenting. I love following like mum influencers and seeing, you know, sometimes I think it's a little bit too glossy. Like, for me, my grid is glossy, but my stories are so real. Like, you know, you can't. That's my favourite thing about socials, is like my stories are just 100% real. Like, I share the good, the bad and the ugly on there. I like to keep my grid looking pretty. Who doesn't? But the only thing that bothers me is sometimes when you see like, especially parent influencers that make everything look perfect. And I'm like, I know for a fact that that is not really reality.
Have you seen Nara Smith's content?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
I'll have to show you after this. So basically, Nara Smith is Bluey-Eyed Smith, or whatever his name is. He's a very famous model. And he's just had twins with her. And it's his second missus. He used to be with another model called Brie. So he's got kids with her, and now he's had kids with this woman.
Blended families.
And yeah, blended family. And she wears these glamorous ball gown dresses and makes everything from scratch, from the bread to the butter to the chewing gum to the Coca-Cola to everything from scratch.
She makes homemade Coca-Cola.
Homemade chewing gum, homemade sun cream, homemade, and she's like, today I did this, and she speaks like this, and everyone's taking the piss out of her now because it's like gone viral. Her stuff has gone absolutely viral, and she's like, I've got my husband's come home and he's not feeling very well, and my twins want me. Everything is so polished, and she's wearing like a Dolce & Gabbana ball gown while she's getting hands deep in her freaking bread that she's making that morning because her kids wanted toast with eggs, and then she's like, and then I go and get the chickens and make sure they lay the eggs.
The best thing to do with accounts like that is to unfollow, because it's unfucking realistic. It just
so...
makes you feel like a shitty mum when you're like, I bought my bread from the bakery this morning, or even worse, like it's been in the freezer
I've
for 6 months. I've
microwaved my food. It comes from a pouch most of the freaking time because anything I do make, he doesn't eat anyway. So
yeah,
get your kids to eat it.
100%.
Jesus.
Listen, that's an unobtainable level of perfection, and I think it's quite dangerous because it does, especially like I feel like mums are quite vulnerable for the first few years at least.
And this girl's like 23. Like she's 23.
She's got way more energy than me, Jamie. I'll give you that just because she's 23.
Right?
But
imagine having a kid at 23.
Oh, I was a kid at 23. I was partying my ass off at 23.
Yeah.
In fact, I party my ass off now.
So,
what am I talking about? Jamie, I've got a question for you. Do you think I've changed since becoming a mum?
100%. You've become so much more laid back.
Really?
And you are like a different person. You used to be so high strung in every situation, and we would be terrified to announce anything or any
change in
now
the plan.
I'm like we were talking about it the other day, and I was like, to think about arguments I've had, and I was thinking, actually, I've never really, since Shanie's had the baby, we've never actually had an argument. Like, she's always been so relaxed.
But you've also had a baby, so you're way less annoying.
Am I? Jesus, I still think I'm quite
the only
annoying.
things me and you have ever argued about, really, is your lack of your lack of organisation. The fact that you're so disorganised. For context, me and Jamie went to Vegas. She was meant to drive with me from Vegas to LA. That's a long drive. After 5 days of partying in Vegas, we were meant to share the drive. This girl not only turned up without her driving license because she lost it. No. This is part of the story.
On the trip.
She lost it. And didn't you lose it before you even got to the airport?
No. We went out. It was like the first night, and within that night, I lost my mobile phone first, and then I lost my wallet, and then I lost my passport.
But she lost the
Never
passport.
got them back.
No, she lost the passport 24 hours before the drive to LA. So then I end up having to do how long is that drive? Like 5 hours drive. After 5 days of partying for my 30th birthday. So I'm meant to be just like living my best life. And now I've got the stress of a 5-hour drive, getting all of my friends from Vegas to LA. And this one is trying to go to sleep in the car. I was like, I literally was driving and she was sat next to me. I was like, your one job is to keep me awake for this drive.
And I didn't have a mobile phone to like actually contact people to get like a photocopy of, because you can get comprehensive insurance, I know, in the UK, so you don't even have to have the
Jamie, stop trying to save yourself in this situation. You lost your driving license, you lost your phone, and you lost your passport in one trip, and your wallet. So she also had no money. So then I had to pay for everything. And then
I lost the house key.
And then you lost the house key, which Stella found like 2 years later.
In a bush.
She lost the house key in a bush for my friend's house who we were staying in LA. I was like, oh my God. Can you imagine? Like, anyone would want to slap the shit out of her. So we're literally driving to LA, and I've said to her, your one job is to keep me awake. And she keeps falling asleep because Jamie's got narcolepsy. She can sleep anywhere. Next thing I turn around, she's like, so I literally just kept smacking her on the forehead. I was like, wake up! Your job is to keep me awake. I was fuming. I didn't talk to her for about 3 weeks after that trip because I was just so angry with you.
I just remember one night we went out, and also it was when like EDM and house music was really rising, and Shanie isn't a big fan of this music, especially then. She loved R&B. And every time we turned up into a club, they'd be playing EDM, and we didn't know they'd be playing EDM. And I remember one night she was like, if I hear one more EDM song, I swear to God, we need to go to a hip hop place. Why is there no hip hop clubs in this place? Because it was really hard to find hip hop and R&B.
We turned
clubs.
it into a funny thing though, because we made that whole like meme thing, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like Shanie when House is on.
Yeah.
Shanie when hip hop is on.
Yeah. But it
And
was
we did
really
it in like every
hard.
club. It was funny.
But it was I think that was the time when like Avicii was really big and everybody was loving that music, and Porsche. It was like, this is the wrong time. We should come here 10 years ago.
Anyway, we've gone off track.
Yeah. So TikTok turn-offs. What's one thing that really drives you mad? Just immaculate.
I don't
You
like
said immaculate.
it. I don't like it. Well, obviously, I get to meet a lot of like influencers in real life, and I don't like that. You know how you have like a telephone voice? They have like an influencer voice. Hi guys. So I'm currently in my bedroom and I'm wearing this, and I want you guys to vote. And they do this thing.
Yeah.
Do we want this one or do we want this one?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't speak like that, like at all. Like, I get for different occasions, people have like different energies, but like the person in front of me, and this is why I originally started my podcast, because I was like, you need to really get to know the person behind the profile pic here, because they're completely different people. But there's a couple of people in particular that on social media come across so confident, so together, like everything's perfect, everything's there. And then you meet them in real life and they don't even, like their voices don't even sound the same.
Wow.
And then on top of that, like they're the most insecure people I've ever met in my life.
Like, have you watched Paris Hilton's documentary?
Yeah, about the baby voice.
The baby voice she puts on.
Yeah, versus her real voice. That's a prime example. And I think Ariana Grande does it as well, because she's been caught a couple of times speaking with her real voice, and it's so much deeper and completely different. So it's exactly the same as the Paris Hilton. She speaks really like and like breathy, and like you're like, and then you hear her on a video where she's been caught speaking to one of her friends, and it's like crazy. But I don't like it when people show up online as a caricature, like it's not really real.
Be
really
authentic.
them. Or there's one person in particular who I'm not going to out, because it's just, I'm not here to ruin someone's career, but they are making a huge amount of money based on being positive and an inspiring person in the space of like wellness and well-being. But I know people that have worked with them and for them that they are like a complete tragedy behind the scenes. They do not practice anything they preach. All of the things that they're selling and all of the things that their audience are buying into are completely fabricated, because the person that they are themselves needs to do all the work. And I'm just like, I don't buy that. That really gives me an ick.
I think that's why people don't like that's why Paris Hilton has a reputation, for instance, for her DJing, because she's been seen just clicking a button. I think she actually does DJ and she does know how to do it, but at the same time it will cause it. You've put on this facade and this voice, and she says, I do it for protection. That's her excuse.
Yeah, I think with Paris Hilton it's a little bit different, because now we know a lot more about Paris Hilton, and we know her journey with abuse, and we know everything that she's been through. You can totally empathise and understand as to why she's built a wall of protection around herself. And that wall of protection is built in being super successful, proving everyone wrong, and having this like caricature version of herself. I think that's very, very, very different. And she's on like a world stage where everyone wants a piece of her, and she can never just go to the shops even by herself, you know? So it's a little bit of a different scale. But then you've got people that, you know, were living perfectly normal lives that have chosen to show up online to get recognition, to build a profile, but it's all based on something that's completely fake. And I think that's quite dangerous, because then you get people thinking, well, why can't I be more like them? They've got it together. They're doing this and they're doing that. And that's why for me, when it comes to social media, my grid is my gloss. My stories are so real. Like you really, you know, you might see a pretty picture on the grid, but then you go to my stories and I'm like disheveled and I'm like, holy shit, what's, you know, dealing with a situation. So yeah, it gives me the ick, especially when I know I've met you. You're a mess. Like,
That's
why are
why
you pretending? Somebody actually, I heard a story about a shoot that they were on, and they had this like wild meltdown or whatever. And the same day they posted a whole inspiring thing about inner confidence and all of this stuff. And like, you know, the complete opposite of the behaviour and the way they just treated like 10 people in the room. So I was like, no, you're a dick.
I had a situation recently where obviously I have a series online and it's called Tantrums to Anthems. So it's from like raising my child with his terrible tantrums or fucking fours that you're going through right now, to anthems, whether it's partying or DJing and stuff. And somebody was like, yeah, but who would want to see your baby crying? And I'm like, yeah, but it's reality. it's reality that is going to happen. Your child is going to, it doesn't make you a bad parent because your child has a temper tantrum.
Listen, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, Jamie. Some people will, like me, I'm sat here saying I don't like seeing it when everyone only shows you the best bits in the gloss because it makes other people feel like shit, right? But then equally, you're going to have somebody at home cussing you for filming your child having a tantrum, saying, oh, well, why are you not just comforting your baby? And you're like, okay, cool, I totally understand that. But equally, I'm not going to be giving a fair representation of being a parent.
This is the 10th one today.
Yeah, like we've already done this 10 times. Like if I film it once, it's fine, you know. But like my reality is like my kids had 10 tantrums today. So if I'm not sharing the bad side, then I'm buying into this whole glossy, fake, everything's perfect thing.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you can't win.
Exactly. And talking of that, have you been with like the Karens of the comments? Have you ever had, obviously because it's so unusual to meet a toddler that's a vegan. Have you ever had any bad Karens in the comments that have slid in and given their 2 cents?
100%. The only time I've ever been trolled is because River is plant-based and because we steer away from, and I'm not even like, I don't throw it in your face. Like everyone has the right to make the best choice for them and their family and their child. I'm not a pusher. I'm not pushing anyone to be plant-based. I'm not, like, even with you rung me up and I can't remember what you asked me. You asked me something about a jab for something. And like, you're somebody I could be so real with. And I think I even said to you, like, this was the reason that we made our choices. Go away, do your own research, see how you feel and what feels right to you. But equally, if you did choose the same thing as us, like, you know, I'm here for that. I will never, ever push my decisions and the things that I believe to be the best for my child on somebody else. But if I mention like, oh, River's say something about being plant-based, I've had people slide into my DMs like, well, I chose to have my baby be plant-based and then all of their teeth rotted and they had this, that and the other. Well, okay, that's your experience. And were you using a mineral toothpaste?
Yeah.
Because you don't need to use fluoride. There's really good mineral toothpaste. Were you using that? Because if you had been, then maybe that would have balanced out the issue. Because the thing with vegan children is sometimes they eat a higher content of fruit sugar and then that can rot their teeth and they can get tooth decay. So it's really, really important that A, you balance their diet out with lots of other things and it's not too fruit heavy, but B, you use a mineral toothpaste. So we spend I think River's toothpaste is like £23 a tube.
Oh, wow.
Like, but
Do you do morning and night? Because we haven't gone on to morning yet. I really should brush his teeth in the morning.
What? You don't brush his teeth in the morning?
No, we do evening right now. Because he always, I don't know whether because I know his front ones died because of when he bashed his tooth.
God,
I was
yeah,
with
I was
Shanie
there.
when we did that. I actually wasn't there. Shanie saw it all. She can explain it to you guys.
Yeah,
but
that's
he's
bad.
obviously got half his tooth and now it's starting to go really grey.
Barney was more scared of what you were going to say about the fact Rocket was coming home with half a tooth than he was about the fact Rocket had half a tooth.
And we've tried to, like, one of our mates had the same situation. Their kid, same age as Rocket, knocked their teeth and they went to the dentist and they did a composite bonding where our dentist was like, no, he doesn't need composite
He doesn't
bonding.
need that. His teeth will fall out and he'll have perfect teeth. It's
Yeah,
fine.
and he's got a little grey.
He looks absolutely.
So I don't know whether
adorable.
it's the sensitivity because every time I brush his teeth, it's a real issue. And
Well, I
he's
tell you what, I will send you the toothpaste that we use for River. It's mineral.
Okay.
It's organic. It doesn't have anything sharp in it, like in terms of like sensitivity. I think it's like birthday cake flavor or something. It's really
cute.
soft and really
Yeah.
gentle. But I'll send you a link to it and see how you get on. But definitely morning and night, 100%. Same as us. So I've definitely had DMs basically telling me that I'm irresponsible. Because he shouldn't be vegan and blah blah blah. And somebody said it was dangerous and how is he going to get enough protein? And it's like, well, he eats tofu, like he eats tofu, he eats broccoli. There's loads of protein in broccoli. He eats, you know, all sorts of things that he has a very rich and healthy diet. You know, like when I compare River's diet to, you know, some of the parents at River's school are quite open and saying, bloody hell, he eats so well. Like River will eat all green food, peas. He eats samphire.
Wow.
Like he eats avocados, he eats broccoli, green beans. He doesn't like asparagus because of the texture. He eats peas, he eats tofu.
Wow.
He'll have pasta. He doesn't love rice. He likes like chips.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like jacket potatoes at the moment. But like he eats a wide variety of
they
food.
go through the phases.
A
Like
wide
the other
variety
day,
of food. We haven't got him on lentils yet. That's my next mission. But
Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't love lentils yet.
Yeah, Rocket doesn't like anything green still.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
struggle.
Like, so when people are sliding in my DMs making me feel bad because he's not eating a chicken, I'm like, hold on a minute. He eats so clean and so healthy.
He's the healthiest child I've ever seen.
So and
Like he can take broccoli and just go. And
Yeah,
he was sitting there doing it and looking at Rocket, and be like, Rocket, have some. It's really nice. And Rocket was like, no.
Rocket was so
He was
unimpressed.
Like, give me chocolate. Like that's all I want. But he's got a sweet tooth.
But then
like his
kids
mother.
will only want what you've introduced them to. Like now River has a little bit of vegan chocolate and it just shows you he's like such a little fiend now. He like wants it every day and I'm like, no, that's a treat. Every now and then you can have a vegan chocolate. And the thing is, I'm really careful. Like if we're going to another kid's birthday party, I'll always make sure I've either checked with the parent whether there's going to be a vegan cupcake for him or I'll bring a vegan cupcake. I never want River to feel like, you know, if it's a pizza party, I'll bring him a vegan pizza. Like I'll never want him to feel different from the other kids around him as he gets older. That's really important. And eventually he will have to make his own choice on what he wants. We've done what we feel is best for him, his gut microbiome, his immunity, his health as best we can. But at the same time, when he's older, he'll have his own free will.
Who knew that all those years ago you would have become a vegan? Well,
Mate,
not you.
I used to have like red meat every day.
I know, I remember. So how me and Shanie know each other is we used to be in a band together, and I'm not allowed to mention the name.
She's not allowed
otherwise
to say
she'll
the name because it
walk
will
out
annoy
of
the
it.
shit out of me.
But we were really successful, and we actually were like coming up. But the problem is I was like one of the oldest in the group with Shanie, and we'd been in the industry since we were little kids, so we were very much trained for that world. Whereas other if you're going into a band that have people that haven't had the experience,
Why are you sitting on that fence? Does your ass crack hurt from sitting on the fence? That
But
was
it's
the most
true.
diplomatic bullshit explanation ever.
I can't go into it.
No,
it's still
it doesn't
trauma.
matter.
I would go to.
I'm pretty sure I banned this subject from this podcast, and I said I would
But
leave. if you
speaking of
brought
it,
up.
I remember how I met Shanie.
Is we were in a girl band
We were in a
together.
girl band together, and I was trying to channel Brittany because she's like the greatest human in the world. So on this podcast,
Fucking
we have a
Brittany.
sector called Besties with.
Am I allowed to
Brits.
swear on this podcast?
Yeah, of
I've
course you
sworn
are.
so much.
Of course you
Fucking
are.
Brittany.
And she went, if you sing like Brittany, what you don't sing like that.
She
Why are
used
you trying to sing like
impersonate
that?
Brittany in the girl band, and I'd be like, "What is that voice? Why are you? You are my TikTok.
That's what it is.
You're my TikTok. You're hiding behind a persona, a voice that's not yours." I was like,
Don't do it anymore.
I was like, "Why are you singing like Brittany? Like that's not even your voice."
Yeah, all those years ago. But
Wow,
she's-
that was annoying.
How isn't it mad how like who she used to be and where she is now is like a completely different person.
Are you trying to get me to speak about Britney Spears on
This
your
is
podcast?
what we do. It's besties with Brit. Chapter.
Okay, right. Besties with Brit. I used to actually love Britney.
Did I ruin that?
I don't
for
think
you?
I've ever told you this.
Did I
used
ruin
to
it
love
for you?
her.
Did you ever get the chance to like dance with her? Because she used to dance for
No.
Kelly Rowland, which was really cool, and Chris Brown. So yeah,
I never danced with Chris Brown.
but you knew Chris Brown because of Kelly Rowland.
So not the story. Jamie has this version of stories in her head that is not nowhere near the truth, and she just
It's
tells
so
them,
true.
and I'm like, that never happened. It's like it's a running joke that Jamie just kind of like takes a story from here and
And
a story from here and a
magnetises
story
it.
from here, like brings them all together, makes up her own story, and then tells it as real news. You are the queen of fake news. But back to Britney.
Yeah.
Britney Spears, I used to love. Like, I've definitely seen Crossroads.
Okay.
And I used to love the Slave for You phase. Like,
Yeah.
that was the one.
Oh, she's amazing.
And then I met Jamie Lisa. And after that, Britney was forever ruined for me. You literally sucked the fin. You sucked the
Fin?
fun out of the
The
fin.
fun?
You sucked the fun out of Britney Spears.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I ruined it for you.
You did. But
The
what's new
90s
with Britney
era.
this week?
I mean, the last thing I knew is she was angry with Halsey because of her doing a rendition of Lucky.
Right.
And she basically was like, I used to love you as an artist and you've actually slated me. You've offended me so badly. And Halsey was like, I asked you for permission to do Lucky and you said, yeah, it was absolutely fine. She's like, I have
Oh.
the recording. And then Britney was like, I don't know what happened. I was hacked on my social media.
And how do you feel about this story? Who do you believe, Jamie? I know who I believe.
Halsey. But the problem is
Traitor.
I don't understand how it's got to this, but now she's making her memoir into a movie and Universal have bought the rights to it, or Paramount, one of the two.
Britney
Again,
is.
I'm like fake news.
Oh my God,
But
Jamie, do you know who should play Britney Spears?
I think it should be...
You! You're her best impersonator.
No, I think it should be the girl from... what's her name? With the big tits. The blonde chick. What's
The
her
blonde
name?
chick. I was going to say maybe like a Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, a little bit like that. That's what. Oh my God, Sabrina Carpenter could be. She could be
She
a really
would be
good
a great
one.
Britney.
But can she dance like her?
Because that's really important. Can
Yeah.
you dance like her?
Yeah.
I actually saw you. No, do you know what? I've got another TikTok turn off.
What, me dancing?
No.
I've actually got better in my later
You've
life.
got so much better, but it's the hands.
But you know why? I
the
think it's because I don't
hands.
care anymore. I used to care beforehand. Like we would have to sit in rehearsals and go over the routine
routines.
over again.
And now you're
but
just a free spirit.
now I'm like, let's fucking do it. And
I love you,
people were like,
Jamie.
actually, you know what? This is like, has nobody noticed how cool this dance is on TikTok? I'm like, Barney, I
You
can
know, the other day
dance."
when you were doing the thing with the white,
Yes.
you looked super, super cool.
Did I?
Yeah, you looked
Thanks.
super, super cool. But you also secretly reminded me of Britney Spears dancing to that camera.
See what I mean?
I was like,
I channel
why does
her.
this feel
I'm her
familiar?
spirit animal.
I was
I'm her
like,
spirit-
I was waiting for you to like put the camera higher and do like a little twirl.
I am her spirit animal
You are. Yeah.
later in life. I
God
wish she was
forbid
like,
anything
I
ever
wish
happened
she
to her.
was
I'd be
still
straight
okay.
on the motorway to your house to console you.
Oh my
'cause-
God. I am waiting for that.
No, don't.
That's why I
wait for
don't
it.
read the Daily Mail anymore because they will be first to feature that. Jesus. Because you are 4 years into parenting, we're going to talk about kids' products.
Right.
So we want to, we always delve into it. For years, I was in love with it was like a bed for Rocket. It used to be called
The sleepyhead.
Dog Top because you can't actually let the baby sleep in there, even though every parent lets the child sleep in there.
100%.
I thought that was a really, really good tool, even though it's got terrible reviews online. What is a good product for 4-year-olds as we are going into that chapter of like the fucking wars? Call it fucking wars because that's what they are.
It's for me. It's like the water bottles that are aluminium or like or glass is better, but like non-plastic water bottles because they spend a lot of time like by themselves now, like drinking water, and they're always outside and all those kind of things. And I have this like fear of like the microplastics. So like heating the, you know, like they're playing outside, they have no awareness. They just leave their water bottle sitting in the sun, and then they, you know, drink the water, and they're also drinking a bunch of microplastics. So a glass, like a thick toughened glass, or for me, safety wise, we use this kind of like metal, which also, you know, they're going to say something about metals as well, you know,
Of course.
but it's better than plastics is my point at the moment. So we use like a really good water bottle. I think we just got it from Amazon, to be honest.
I threw all the bottles away the other day because I've noticed every time I wash up by hand, and this is one of my pet peeves with Barney Banks, is he throws all the bottles into the dishwasher, but it gets that dishwasher smell.
And it's really bad for... We literally ditched all of our plastic in the house a few weeks ago. Like even like now he's when we cook for him and we always make like a double portion, the second portion goes into a glass container.
Wow.
Like we got rid of all the plastic, we got rid of all the chopping boards, everything's like wood or glass.
So what we'll do is we'll add the link at the bottom of this podcast so you guys can find it. I'm going to get some of that as well because I literally, he was gone out the house and I can do, everything gets changed when Barney's out of the house. He comes back and it's like the walls painted a different colour and
You're so
everything's
funny.
different. And yeah, it's like the other day I was like, you know what, I'm sick of him drinking these bottles and they smell so bad.
Oh, best product.
Go on.
A pea cup.
What is that? Oh, it's like
I've probably got one in my handbag, even though I don't
What
have
is
the
it?
baby
Is
with
it
me.
like the penguin and then you open it? And
I don't
it's
know
like
about a penguin, but it's like these little kind of like, they look like little food containers, and then they've got like a funnel, and then they have like a little privacy cover for the girls. So it's like a little shiwi, or
never
like with the
heard of
boys, they can just
this.
put their little wink in, and so that way it doesn't matter if we're like driving somewhere and there's nowhere to stop.
need
It
that for
doesn't matter
adults.
if like where you are, the fact that he can go, because they don't give you very much notice. Mummy, I need a wee, and it's like I need one right now. I literally have pea cups in my handbag, in the car. Like you just whip out a pea cup, go on then, baby, in there, and then you just disperse of the pee back in the car and gone. Pee cup is essential, great for travel. Like, you know, if you're on a plane, we were on a plane the other day on the way home from our holiday, and the queue for the toilet was like 8 people long. A 3-year-old is not going to wait that long. No. Pee cup on the plane.
Wow.
That's my number one
We'll add it
recommendation.
underneath. Yeah, so Rocket's doing the whole thing at nursery where like I'll pick him up from nursery and like, he was so good today, he said he wanted to go to the toilet. I mean, he still hasn't actually gone to the toilet because I think I implemented it a bit young at 1.5. I was getting him to sit on the toilet and I'd be like, go wee-wees, psst, that, and then now he thinks that's what it is, so he'll sit on the toilet and he'll be like, psst, done. And I'm like, you're not done. Why do you think you're done?
Oh my God, you
and
overacted it.
He goes like this. He goes, anything? Anything? And I'm like, well, you would know if it was anything. So I think we're going to, when Barney's back,
That is really funny. He's a bit young. Like, River didn't potty train until about 6 months before he started preschool. So he was like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
boys take a little bit longer.
You have to like tick these boxes with preschool as well. Like they need to say the ABC up until Z. Like it's ridiculous.
No, they don't.
Ours at prep school, we've got like a list.
Oh.
Yeah, it's mad.
Prep school is
But talking
aggressive.
of being free time at home, when you are with Tony, is there any series or movie that you're into at the moment or anything you're excited to see?
I'm obsessed with all of the Netflix kind of like documentary styles, like the one about the Wimbledon stars. So
Okay. I
Breakpoint,
thought you were going to say Sky then.
Sprint, Simone Biles doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of those. Yeah, I love those at the moment. Anything that's like following somebody, following a dream.
Oh, I love murder
I find that
ones.
I find that murder. Where did that come from? What?
Because documentaries on Netflix about
Oh
murder.
no, I don't like watching those because I genuinely get super paranoid that someone will murder me, and it makes me really worried. So
Really?
I'm like one of those people. Like if I see a murder doc or a story and like there's something really far-fetched going on, I will like grab onto the most far-fetched, like once in a lifetime part of that story and think it's going to happen to me.
Oh my God.
So I just stay away from, I don't watch any horror movies. I don't watch anything that's going to frighten me or play on my mind or make me too paranoid of the world. I stay away from it.
Oh,
So I
wow.
like watching things right now that are super inspiring, people that have a massive like huge unattainable dream, like winning the Olympics, for example. And I like watching their journey to get there.
There's the Formula One and the golf
Drive
one
to
as well.
Survive is where it started. So
Did it?
that's my absolute favourite. But then it kind of led on because then I was working for Wimbledon. I did Wimbledon with Lab Bible and the BBC. So before Wimbledon, I like binge watched all 3 series of Breakpoint. And then that was so good that then I was like, oh, the Olympics is on. I want to watch Simone Biles one, which I binge watched the other day. And then now we've just started Sprint, which is really good as well. So that's like the phase of TV I'm in at the moment.
Nice.
But equally, I just love Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. I haven't got into Bridgerton.
Yeah, I love
But
it.
I'm like, is it because it's like, I don't like stuff that's, is it a drama? What do you call that?
Like period
a period
drama.
drama. I'm never into period dramas. I'm not really into like the fantasy worlds kind of thing. I kind of like.
There's another one on Sky, The Gilded Age. That's really good. That's another
heard of
period
that as
drama.
well.
It's
Yeah.
kind of very Bridgerton-esque, but it comes from the people that made Downton Abbey. That's really good.
Oh, really?
I love period drama, actually. I used to
Yeah.
love Downton Abbey. I got into
Yeah,
it
I never
very
got into
late.
that.
I got into it very late, but I do
I'm
like
into
it.
like the prison breaks and like escape free stuff and like
Yeah.
naughty shit.
I don't really have like a number one genre that I like. I just know that I don't like anything where people get murdered.
I tell you what you would really like then, which I got really into and it's so inspiring, is Ted Lasso on Apple TV.
Okay, I've never seen that yet.
It's so good to the point where I still think it's like number 2 on Apple TV and it's been done for like 2 or 3 years and there's 3 seasons.
Okay.
And he's a dad from America that moves over to the UK and he runs Richmond FC. And it's
Okay.
hilarious because he's never done UK football. He's only done American football, which is a completely different sport.
Oh, okay.
And the woman that's booked him,
This is Hannah Waldingham's in this,
yeah,
isn't she?
she's the one that owns the football club and her ex owned it. She got it in the divorce. And she basically wants to ruin the football club. So she hires him. But he ends up being so inspirational and like changing the club, making it really nice. And it's got stuff like they cover race in there. They cover sexuality. It's so different to anything you would see on TV. And like
Ooh, top
he
tip.
has a young child as well that he has a long distance relationship with because he's in the UK now and it's their relationship as well. And it's just so heartwarming. Every episode I cried. Yeah, I have to admit. It was one of those. Where I
Oh,
was
I'm
just
going to
like,
watch that. Have you
Ted
seen The
Lasso.
Morning Show?
Yeah, amazing.
I really love that. Obviously, where I'm a presenter, anything where there's like that kind of story, I'm like so
She's so
interested
good in it as well.
She's so good, but also it's just like it's so interesting to see.
I love Jennifer Aniston
because all of that has got to be based on, the reality.
It's basically this morning.
Yeah.
Everything that This Morning went through
100%.
is the morning show. Like I was watching it, I was like,
100%.
we've actually just been through this.
Yeah.
So I'm Googling, being like,
I would
did
love
they
to
write it
present
out
on
on
there.
This Morning? And they were like, no, it was actually shot before This Morning happened.
How crazy
But
is that?
It literally aligns. So I'm sure it's going to come back and somebody's going to try and kill Jennifer Aniston. Like, that will be one of them.
We'll see.
Right?
Apparently
So
Holly's
we've
back
got
on TV.
I've got a multiple choice question that we want to go through.
Ooh, I love this type of thing. We're doing a game.
Yeah, so it's 7. Oh, is it 7 or 8? It's 8.
8 questions.
Some
Cool.
are multiple choice and some are just
Okay.
open for you to answer.
Got it.
Okay,
Go.
but they're quick fire, so you can't think. You have to be
Oh
quick.
God, I'm not very good at quickfire.
I
But
know.
cool.
I'm so sorry.
Go.
What's your go-to trick for getting kids to eat vegetables? A. Hide them in other foods. B. Reward them with desserts. C. Make a game out of eating them. Or D. Just insist they eat them.
Make a game out of eating them. Broccoli. Oh, you're a giraffe. Get that long neck. Oh, it's the tree. And in your mouth.
Make a game out of it. I like it. How do you handle tantrums in public? A. Ignore it. B. Distract them with a toy or a snack. C. Leave the area immediately. Or D. Talk them through it calmly.
Cuddle.
Cuddle.
When they're having a tantrum, if you just give them the biggest cuddle and hold them so close and then just like deep breaths, they naturally fall into your body's rhythm.
Oh,
Or I say, get the fuck up.
That was me today walking the dog, and I
It
was
depends
like,
it depends if I'm in a gentle parent mode. No, 9 times out of 10 it will be cuddle, but like there is that one time where I'm just like, and it's usually this is the thing. It's usually if it's like I'm stressed or I'm in a hurry and I'm just like, I don't have time for this right now.
That's
I can't
me.
gentle parent you through this, and then I'll be like, River, get up right now. And worst case scenario, I'll just have to pick him up and go. But I'm never the parent that's like apologizing for my child having a tantrum. I'm more likely to be the parent in the advert that lays down and has the tantrum on the floor next to them to embarrass them so they get up.
Oh my God, I did that the other day, and Rocket looked at me and hit me. He was like, how dare you
Embarrass me.
Yeah. Just hit me. Okay. So, how do you manage screen time for your kids?
Ooh.
Strict time limit. B. Educational content only. C. Reward-based screen time. Or D. Free reign with supervision.
This is never going to be a quick fire because I was going to talk to you about this anyway. River is currently on a screen ban.
Wow.
Has been since the day he finished school. So we went to Mykonos the day he finished school.
How's your parenting going?
I feel like his behaviour has got worse. I'm confused because I've heard that it's supposed to get better.
Slide into the DMs with that
I
one,
know,
guys.
literally. So we banned screens from the day we went on holiday. He asked, and by the way, River doesn't have a lot of screen time anyway, but we just thought, why not? Let's take this to the next level because he wasn't allowed to watch TV until he was like 2.
Wow.
He was only allowed to watch the Dancing Vegetables.
Yeah.
But that was only if it was like we were going to the doctor, like that time when we were in hospital. That was when we first introduced Dancing Vegetables for distraction when he had to have like a blood test. But yeah, I digress. We banned screens for, well, it's been 3.5 weeks, and now we're going to introduce it slowly where it's like we can have a family movie night and we can watch a movie together, all 3 of us. But it's not going to be like, He's never allowed it Monday to Friday either.
Wow.
So Monday to Friday on school days, no screens. At the weekend, he can watch a movie or a couple of his favourite shows for a treat. But we completely took that out of the mix for the summer just to see how it went. So far, it's not going very well.
Okay. We'll keep you up to date with that one.
Very bad.
Number 4, what's the funniest thing your child has ever said?
He said, "Mummy, look at my cock. Look at my big cock." And actually what he was trying to say was clock. Look at my clock. Look at my big clock. But you can imagine when me and Tony heard that, we absolutely were on the floor laughing.
Oh.
And then he went, "Stop laughing, Mummy."
Oh,
Because he
that's
didn't
so
understand
cute.
why I was laughing. That was like a not able to say the word properly thing. The kids are just so honest,
Aren't they?
Like he'll come up to me and poke my belly and go, "You got a fat belly, Mum." Like, you know, if you're like
Is
leaning
that
over,
Peppa?
and you're
Is that
like-
Peppa Pig?
He's not allowed to watch Peppa Pig. He's never
Oh my
seen
God,
it.
Rocket is obsessed, and I can't get him to stop it. Like
He's never
if I
seen
don't put
it.
it on, he screams and has a temper tantrum.
Yeah, he's never been allowed to watch it because I think George is a little shit.
Yeah,
so.
it's George. It's honestly
Yeah,
George.
so River's not allowed to watch that.
Oh God.
But yeah,
What
just
have I done?
honesty. The honesty is always really funny.
Oh my God. So Barney put a video up the other day of him asking for a snack, but because of his accent, he's like, snack, snack. And then everyone was like, it sounds like he's saying sex. Can I have sex?
Oh, yeah,
Can I
that
have
was
sex?"
really funny. Me and Tony were laughing at that.
And I was like, I didn't even notice that until afterwards. I was like, oh, God. Okay, number 5. What is the most challenging part of parenting?
For me personally, it's trying to be more patient.
I thought you were going to say sleep.
Yeah, no, the sleep part has been absolutely torturous. But I think very much now probably sleep. Sleep deprivation is just horrific. And I'm good on no sleep, right? I can do 4 hours sleep and still go and do a whole workout.
As long
and do
as
a whole
I get
day's
4
work.
hours, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I
but
just need 4 hours.
after doing that for 3-4 years, it really does wear you down. But I'd say like right now, it's like I think it's looking at yourself and trying to improve yourself to be a better parent. And for me right now, patience is my problem. I don't have any patience.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you still look amazing for the lack of sleep that you've had in the last
I'd like
4
to
years.
shout out to Dr. Esho for my incredible Botox.
Okay, and number 6. What's one thing you wish you knew before becoming a parent?
Ooh.
Have more patience.
Yeah.
Patience
I wish I'd knew that I was so impatient.
Really?
I didn't realise it until I heard myself like, come on, River, like, tidy up now. And then realising I've said it 5, that's my stomach rumbling. Realising I've said it 5 or 6 times and nothing's happened. And now I'm really, really irritated. Tony was like, how did you not know you were impatient? You're so impatient.
You were
You've
told
always
this
been.
all the
But
time
I'm
with
like,
work.
yeah, I don't get it. But yeah, learning that about myself.
Okay, and as you are a vegan, I wanted to ask you, what's your
I'm
favourite?
not vegan. This is going to be the controversial part of the entire
She's
podcast.
not vegan, but
I eat like 80% plant-based.
What's your favourite family meal to cook together?
Oh, Mexican food.
Oh.
Yeah, love Mexican food.
Are they good vegan options on there?
Yeah, great. Yeah, we love fajitas, enchiladas,
How can you
chili con
be
carne.
without sour cream?
You can have coconut yogurt.
Oh, okay. That is
Yeah, I was
actually
thinking,
quite
what do we
nice.
use? Coconut yogurt.
And the last but not least, best activity to do with your toddler in London.
Oh,
Because I know you're a Londoner. So
Yeah.
all you London
many
listeners,
good
if you
ones.
come or if you come to London anytime soon with your kid.
there's quite a few. Right, okay. My favourite ones are actually not in London.
Okay.
So there's a farm all the way out where I grew up, like past where I grew up, towards Horsham Way, and it's called Fisher's Farm, and it's about an hour and a half from me, but it's like a mini.
Petting zoo vibe.
No, it's kind of half farm, and then it's half like theme park for under 5s.
Oh
but
my
all
God,
of it's made
cute.
with like wood, and it's all really rustic, and it's owned by family. And every year they add something new to the thing, and it's like they've got like like the little water bumper cars, and they've got a logger's leap but for under 5s, and it's just super quaint and cute and really lovely. And you buy little tokens.
should take
And
the
that was
boys
the
there
first
for
time
River's
River did a
birthday.
pony ride, because they do pony rides. It's just really beautiful and wholesome. I love that. If we're talking in London, I think any of like the good soft plays, kids just love a soft play, don't they? But I
Yeah.
tend to drive out a little bit. I don't mind like a little drive to Godstone Farm, Fisher's Farm,
There's one
Bobcats
around
Farm.
me actually that we've just discovered, like literally 5 minutes from me. That
Yeah.
we can take the boys, but I'm not going to say where it is.
This thing is
just in
so
case.
heavy, Jamie.
I know it's so heavy.
I'm like realise I've just been like this the whole thing.
But
I'm like-
Kidzania they've closed recently, which I thought looked really cool. And Kidzania used to be a place where you could be an ambulance driver or a doctor or a basketball player, and it kind of got kids into, you kind of get a ticket and go, what do you want to do? And then
Yeah,
you
it's
do
like,
that
what do you want to
thing.
be when you grow up?
But they've closed it. They've closed it down.
Didn't that
I
close
don't know why.
because of COVID or something? It didn't
No,
like the
no, it
business
was
didn't survive
open
COVID. Oh, okay.
earlier this year. So I
Oh.
was going to take Rocket. And then when I
bizarre.
decided, right, I'm going to take, but it's very expensive.
Yeah.
It was very expensive. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed Shanie as
Oh,
a guest
Colchester
on there.
Zoo. Sorry.
Colchester Zoo.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's Essex though, right? I'm not very good
I
at
have no
London
idea.
ones. I travel to get the fun. I travel for fun.
Exactly.
Sorry, anyway, you was closing out this fabulous episode.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in to this special episode. Shanie will be back. She'll be back for 2 to 3 episodes as our guest host. And
Well,
we're going to have some incredible
I wasn't
guests.
aware of that, but now she's just said it on the camera.
She was aware of it. It's just she's
I
away
guess I'm
next
locked
week.
in now. I'm locked in.
She's locked in, so you will see us here with some guests, and it will be fun, and it'll be a bit more girlier. So no men on this one.
Although I
mean,
do
we
want to
might
do
have-
an episode with Barney.
We might have men guests sometimes,
100%.
but we'll see. But yeah, if you guys do have any guests that you would love to come on Don't Tell Mum, please let us know. Slide it to the DMs. If you like this, go over and let us know. Hit us up on the comments, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. This is Shanie_Ryan. Go follow her. Thank you so much for tuning in to Don't Tell Mum for this really special episode, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't tell Mom. Bye-bye.